Everyone comes to Los Angeles to become famous. Most end up serving coffee to people who came here to become famous 20 years ago. 4 million people chase the same illusion while living in cars they can't afford, in apartments they split with strangers, in a city that profits from their desperation. The Los Angeles everyone expects Hollywood stars, Sunset Boulevard, cruises, Venice Beach skaters, Malibu mansions where celebrities live perfect lives in perfect weather. This Los Angeles exists. In movies shot on studio lots, in Instagram posts carefully cropped to hide the homeless encampments, in the tourism board fantasies that lure fresh meat to the grinder. But this isn't where Angelenos lived. This is where Angelenos work to afford living anywhere that isn't Los Angeles. The audition city. Los Angeles doesn't have residents, it has contestants. Every conversation is a pitch. Every coffee meeting is an audition. Every friendship is networking disguised as human connection. People don't live here. They perform living here while waiting for their real life to begin. The city runs on perpetual rehearsal for a show that never starts. The car prison system, 3:47 p.m. Interstate 405 during rush hour that lasts from noon to midnight. Watch the faces through windshields, not commuters. Inmates, 2 hours each direction, in air-conditioned isolation chambers. Breathing recycled exhaust, listening to podcasts about self-improvement while sitting motionless in the least efficient transportation system ever designed. The car isn't freedom in Los Angeles. The car is your cell in an outdoor prison where everyone serves the same sentence. Geographic immobility disguised as personal mobility. The weather weapon 72 degrees and sunny. Every day for months. This isn't paradise. This is sensory deprivation. No seasons means no passage of time. No weather means no external motivation to change anything. No winter means no rest from the relentless performance of optimism. The perfect weather isn't a gift. It's a trap that makes it impossible to blame your failures on anything except yourself. The industry everywhere, the waiter analyzing your order like a casting director, the barista with headshots in their car, the Uber driver pitching their screenplay between traffic lights. Everyone works in the industry. Even people who don't work in the industry are defined by not working in the industry. Los Angeles doesn't have an entertainment business. It is an entertainment business disguised as a city. The geography of dreams, West Hollywood. Gay men paying $4,000 to share studios while working as waiters at restaurants they can't afford to eat at. Silver Lake. Hipsters from Ohio performing authenticity in a neighborhood they gentrified while complaining about gentrification. Venice Tech brothers cosplaying as artists in lofts that cost more than most people's houses. Every neighborhood sells a different version of the same lie, that living in the right zip code makes you the right kind of person. The rejection economy, no, is Los Angeles' primary export. 99% of screenplays never get read. 99% of actors never get cast. 99% of musicians never get signed. 99% of startups fail. The city runs on hope purchased with borrowed money by people who interpret statistical impossibility as personal challenge. Rejection isn't failure in Los Angeles. Rejection is the product. The borrowed lifestyle, credit card debt to afford the apartment that makes you look successful enough to get the job that might pay enough to afford the apartment. A lease BMW to look like you can afford to buy a BMW, so someone might hire you for work that pays enough too. Lease a BMW? Designer clothes bought on payment plans to attend networking events where you meet other people wearing designer clothes bought on payment plans. Los Angeles doesn't sell success. It sells the performance of success on layaway. The homeless, invisible, encampments under every freeway overpass, tents lining every beach neighborhood, people living in cars parked outside houses worth $10 million. The homeless aren't failure cases, they're previews. They represent what happens when the performance becomes unsustainable, but you're too broke to leave and too invested to quit. Los Angeles doesn't create homelessness. It creates the economic conditions that make homelessness inevitable while criminalizing the visibility of its own effects. The fitness, religion, soul cycle classes that cost more than groceries. Yoga studios with membership fees higher than gym monthly dues. Personal trainers who charge therapy rates to watch people exercise. Physical fitness isn't health in Los Angeles. It's economic signaling disguised as self-care. Your body becomes your business card. Your workout routine becomes your work ethic demonstration. Your diet becomes your discipline advertisement. Looking good isn't vanity, it's professional development. The networking nightmare. Every social interaction measured by potential career benefit. Every party evaluated by quality of connections. Every friendship auditioned for mutual usefulness. People don't hang out. They grab coffee to discuss potential collaborations. The city turns human connection into business development. Intimacy becomes impossible because everyone is always selling something. The startup graveyard. Co-working spaces filled with people building apps that solve problems nobody has. Venture capital flowing to ideas that will never generate revenue. Entrepreneurs pivoting from failure to failure while maintaining optimism. Silicon Beach isn't innovation. It's speculation disguised as technology. The real product isn't the apps or platforms. The real product is investment capital extracted from people who believe that proximity to success equals access to success. The foodie performance, $18, avocado toast, $25 acai bowls, $35 elevated burgers that taste like regular burgers with pretentious descriptions. Food isn't nutrition in Los Angeles. Food is lifestyle content. People don't eat. They photograph eating. Restaurants don't serve meals. They provide Instagram backdrops. The meal isn't consumed, it's performed for an audience of followers who are also performing eating for their followers. The environmental debt: swimming pools in a desert, golf courses during permanent drought, air conditioning systems running year-round to combat heat generated by concrete that replaced the trees that provided natural cooling. Los Angeles doesn't exist despite environmental impossibility. It exists because of environmental impossibility. The city proves that enough money and energy can make humans survive anywhere. For a while, the cultural appropriation capital: Korean tacos served by white food trucks, yoga studios teaching ancient wisdom to entertainment executives, spiritual retreats selling enlightenment to people who measure their worth in Instagram followers. Los Angeles doesn't preserve culture. It packages culture for consumption by people who mistake consumption for understanding. Every tradition becomes content. Every practice becomes product. Every philosophy becomes personal brand. The success survivors, the few who make it, don't celebrate. They develop survival guilt and defensive paranoia. Success in Los Angeles doesn't feel like achievement. It feels like lottery winning that could be revoked at any moment. The successful work harder than the unsuccessful, not because they're more ambitious, because they understand how arbitrary success is and how quickly it disappears. The leaving ritual: U-Hauls loaded with possessions that cost more than they're worth. Instagram stories about new chapters that don't mention the credit card debt or therapy bills. People don't leave Los Angeles, they escape Los Angeles, usually at night, usually in tears, usually broke. The city doesn't mourn departures. It imports new dreamers before the moving truck reaches the city limits. The native species, fourth-generation Angelenos, who remember when you could afford rent on minimum wage. When traffic moved, when the ocean was visible from downtown, they watch waves of transplants gentrify neighborhoods their families built, pay prices their grandparents couldn't imagine, work jobs that exist only to service other people's dreams. The natives aren't bitter. They're archaeologists of a city that disappeared beneath layers of other people's fantasies. The therapy economy: more therapists per capita than teachers, more life coaches than engineers, more self-help workshops than libraries. Mental health isn't healthcare in Los Angeles. It's career maintenance. People don't go to therapy to heal trauma. They go to therapy to optimize performance in a system designed to create trauma. The fake community neighborhood associations that exclude the neighbors. Activist organizations run by people who moved here last year. Environmental groups that oppose public transportation. Community isn't social connection in Los Angeles. Community is property value protection disguised as civic engagement. People organize around keeping things the same while claiming to want change. The time distortion: days blur into months, blur into years, without seasonal markers or weather changes. People lose track of how long they've been waiting for their breakthrough. I've been here 2 years, becomes I've been here 10 years, becomes I've been here 20 years, without anyone noticing the transition. Los Angeles doesn't age people. It suspends them in amber made of hope and denial. The exit interview: most people leave Los Angeles poorer, lonelier, and more cynical than they arrived. They don't gain industry experience. They gain expensive therapy bills and stories about celebrities they saw at Whole Foods. But they also leave with immunity to bullshit, with recognition of performance, with understanding of how dreams become products. The honest hour: 4:30 a.m. Sunset Boulevard empty, except for street sweepers and people driving to early morning service jobs. The billboards still promise stardom. The studios still manufacture fantasy. But there's nobody left to believe the performance. This is when Los Angeles reveals itself. Not glamorous, not exciting, just expensive, isolating, and relentlessly demanding. The city that never stops dreaming is full of people who haven't slept in years. The recognition: you don't visit Los Angeles and fall in love with the city. You visit Los Angeles and fall in love with your imagined future self in the city. The version of yourself who deserves attention, who creates art, who lives beautifully, who becomes someone worth watching. Los Angeles offers you this fantasy self. For everything you have and most of what you'll ever earn. The final performance: some people break through the audition phase and build actual creative lives. They're not the ones posting about loving LA. They're too busy making work while carefully managing the economics of making work. They've learned to find meaning in the margins, community in the cracks, art between the business meetings. You'll know them by what they don't say about the city. The dream graveyard truth: Los Angeles doesn't kill dreams, it commercializes them. Takes your authentic desire to create and transforms it into content strategy. Takes your need for community and transforms it into networking opportunity. Takes your artistic vision and transforms it into brand development. The dreams don't die. They become products that other people sell back to dreamers who arrive with the same authentic desires you had. Most people leave Los Angeles having learned the difference between dreams and fantasies. Some people stay long enough to learn how to dream responsibly in a city built on selling irresponsible dreams. The city doesn't care which lesson you choose. It only cares that you pay rent while you're learning.